Good morning to you all and welcome to this session of Army Day 2022. I am Brigadier Ranbir Bhatia. I have served 37 years in the Army and retired in 2005. I have been associated with Lexicon MILE for some time, and I think some of you students or most of you students would be knowing me. Okay, today we have a very distinguished guest to talk to us on Army Day and Army way of life. I am now inviting Brigadier N.D. Prasad to please join us. Brigadier Prasad, could you please switch on your video? Can we see you? Good morning, Brigadier N.D. Prasad. Gentlemen, we have a very renowned, or I would say a distinguished soldier with us today on the Army Day. Brigadier N.D. Prasad has been awarded the Vishish Seva Medal and was commissioned in June '69 and is an alumni of the National Defence Academy and the Indian Military Academy. He has had a very illustrious career, which includes commanding an infantry battalion. He's been the deputy commander of a brigade in Siachen. He has also commanded an infantry brigade at Jamnagar. He has been awarded the Vishish Seva Medal for his excellent services during the relief operations after the Gujarat cyclone in June 1998. Brigadier Prasad is from the infantry and he joined the Rajput regiment. May I now request Brigadier Prasad? In fact, he is my coursemate and I have known him for the more than last 50 years. And if somebody asks me to introduce Brigadier Prasad, I would say a very simple, staunch soldier with a large heart. That is in one sentence if I would describe Brigadier N.D. Prasad. Okay, Brigadier Prasad, let's start with what and why is the Army Day being celebrated on 15th of January? Can I have your background to this?
Firstly, let me say good morning to everybody and wishing everybody a happy Army Day, that is today. Army Day is celebrated on 15th January every year because this is the day when British Commander-in-Chief handed over the charge to General K.M. Cariappa as a Commander-in-Chief of Indian Army. Secondly, this day is also remembered. We salute all our brave hearts who have dedicated themselves in the service of the nation in peace and war as well. And this is the significance of the Army Day.
Thank you, N.D. I would also add that when he was a Lieutenant General K.M. Cariappa took over on 15th January 1949 from General Butcher of the Indian Army, of the British Army. And in fact, what is known and what we in the Army say, the day General Cariappa took over as the CNC of the Indian Army became truly the Indian Army. Thank you, N.D.
I fully endorse your views, and in recognition of his services, Cariappa was also in 1987, much later, was Government of India gave him Field Marshal rank also.
Yeah.
And incidentally, he's from my regiment. I am from Rajput. He commanded 17 Rajput also.
Congratulations from being the illustrious line of the Rajput clan or regimental clan.
Thank you.
Okay, to begin with, briefly tell us your journey and experiences in the Army. especially your tenure on the Siachen Glacier and counterinsurgency operations. Uh,
Uh,
can we have the slide one, please? Okay. Can आप सुन रहे हाँ
I like. I'll just say that I, right from the birth, I must say that I had that uh, will to serve the nation after having joined army. I first came up in Sainik School at UP Sainik School, Lucknow, then joined NDA, then IMA, and finally got commissioned into Rajput Regiment. And over a period, grew up in the army environment and basically been through all the ranks and served in various places, northeast, deserts, high altitude, Sikkim, 71 war. As a youngster, we took in part in 71 or also, and it was a proud moment for my battalion, that is 22 Rajput, who at that time took surrender of Pakistani army in Madhumati battle, and there they surrendered to us in a fierce battle, and I, as a platoon commander, have witnessed that surrender, and they refused to believe that we were officers, young officers, because we were dressed like our own soldiers, carrying all our own load, and we were totally like our Jawans. While their officers, I found, they were in starched clothes and they're surrendering. I was wondering, and they thought that we are not officers. But true to our spirit, we never harmed them and we followed Geneva Convention. That is the 71 battle. Later, I'll tell you my experience now as grew up in various places all over India. As now, basically, I'll cover my two incidents. One is of Siachen and then of insurgency areas. As the deputy commander of that brigade, I had honest responsibility of the administration of the complete brigade. I'll tell you two, three things which really will give you motivation and feeling to join the Indian Army. Firstly, those heights, though minus 50 degrees temperatures, but our troops have very high morale and they live in those conditions cheerfully. Even you find the food that they eat is frozen. The potatoes, the eggs that is delivered by air, in fact, they have to reheat it in boiled water. The water that is the ice there, they have to melt it and use it. So you can imagine the condition, the clothing they wear. It's so light, of course, but when you wear it, it's very, very cumbersome. And having taken all that, you have to use your weapon in those conditions. The toll is not because of enemy there, which is a cross, though we are in a very dominating height there, but toll is because of weather, inclement weather, blizzards. I remember an incident that most of our troops, being Indians, they don't use tissue paper. They don't use tissue paper while going to bathroom. Now there was cases of frostbite. A lot of people did a lot of research, but nobody wanted to tell the truth. So once a very senior officer visited, he asked me, what is the reason? There are a lot of frostbites. I said, sir, the frostbite is not because of anything else. It is because our troops do not use toilet paper. Then he understood and he laughed, mighty laughs. Oh, I'd say that no question asked. So that is one incident. Second, the life is so tough there that when a casualty becomes due to weather or enemy shelling or anything, or one lands in a crevice, I've shown you a crevice also. When the body is recovered, it is totally hardened. You can do nothing. You cannot evacuate it. So at times we have to break those bodies into pieces, because the helicopter, you have to lift it, those bodies, in a helicopter, it cannot be loaded like that. So very, very sad things like this happen. So these one or two incidents gives you chill factor. Thirdly, you have to have a lot of caloric value food there, but you cannot consume fresh. You get a lot of chocolates, dry fruits, but you incidentally cannot consume them. Not because you don't feel like eating them. Though otherwise you'll, in other locations, you'll love to have them. But there, it is there in plenty, but you cannot eat it. Then one more incident I'll tell you, that in those areas, the troops are rotated very fast. In most difficult areas, maximum stay is 3 months. In little softer areas, it's 6 months. So you'll find at every time, either people are going up or coming down. So that is the scene. Now, having done that, now I'll come to insurgency area.
ND,
Yeah.
ND, can you wait for a minute? Yeah, can you show the slides of Siachen, please?
Okay, please.
Then we'll come to insurgency. Okay, show the slides of please show the slides. Chalo, koi nahi. Okay, we'll show the slide after you finish. Okay.
Okay, now I'm
insurgency experience.
Okay, now I'm coming to insurgency. Though I have served in as a youngster also in Mizoram, when Mizos were in quite deadly for the country. But what is the most important thing in the insurgency is that these are our own people. They are not enemy. They are misguided youth who have taken up arms against the nation, of feeling deprivation of certain things, justifiably or unjustifiably. I cannot say that. My only thing is I can say that is that we have to treat them not like enemy. We have to treat them like our own folks.
Yeah, eight minute. Yeah, are you putting the slide now? Oh, okay, next slide. Next slide.
You'll find crevices there and you'll find helicopter evacuation.
Next slide. आगे चलो स्लाइड दिखाओ. Okay. We'll come to slides later. Andy, please carry on with your insurgency.
Okay. So I was saying that they are misguided youth. They are not enemy. So we have to be very tactful in dealing with them, because moment you are taking very strict action or into enemy wishes shoot to kill, but here it is not so. Here we just want to arrest them and bring them to mainstream. But unlike, they are also very hardened, well trained, and those people are trained by our adversaries. They give them weapon, they train them well, so they are not that simple, they also trained. So the thing is, enemy you can distinguish, you can identify, but these are own people who look like you only. They stay with the locals. They very difficult to identify friend and foe. I can see the Siachen glacier. This is the igloos where one stays. You can see the little hut with a window. This
अरे
is
यार
our field marshal.
अभी स्लाइड मत करो.
So
यार अभी स्लाइड मत करो, मैंने बोला मैं बताऊंगा तब करना. अभी बंद करो, चल रहा है सेशन.
So I'll start again about the insurgency. So I was telling you about insurgency, that it's a misguided youth. So we have to treat them like that, and you don't have to kill them. You have to manage to get them, capture them, arrest them, and try to convince them and try to bring them into mainstream. I had the distinction of commanding a brigade in highly trained Ulfa and Bodo militants somewhere in Assam, bordering Bhutan. But to my credit, I found two things, that as a leader, as a brigade commander, firstly, in those areas, you don't have to give prediction of your move to anybody. Our habit of our troops are that every time, for your safety, they keep asking, sir, where have you reached? Where have you reached? But one should discourage anything, any conversation, because that is the time you will be sure to be trapped by insurgents, because they will know your location. So what I innovated, I should never tell where I am going, not even to commanding officer where I am going. Because any case, you start in one direction, people might be thinking of going, halfway you change your direction, go to some other place. The aim is to be seen by troops. Aim is to meet them and say hello to them, get them welfare, and also not let the militants know that which route you are following. So it was very successful. Only my staff officer, one staff officer know that where I am, but that he knew my plan much before, but no conversation. Second thing is, to credit is bringing civil administration into mainstream. I mean, you should, the media, the civil administration, people also be with you, that you are doing a good job, and offering, never misbehave with locals, offer them food, water, and talk to them nicely. But what is happening at times, this is my experience, I had a Jat battalion with me. So their way of talking is natural. But it may annoy the people from Assam because the way they talk is very offensive, but they don't mean it. So I told the people, the media people, that you must think like that they are the people, they have come from a different place to help you. They don't mean anything. So I had to innovate that I to tell these troops that anybody passing through you, offer him a cup of tea, give him a glass of water, and just tell him that please आप अच्छी तरह से रहें, हमारा काम है आपको सुरक्षा देना. And but our troops, the way they speak, those chaps are different. Gurkha troops will speak in a different way. Sikhs will speak in a different way. So one more anecdote I'll tell you. In insurgency, when we go for patrolling, the Sikh troops are very, very innovative. They're going, it's raining heavily, but you'll find that as a leader, you'll find a hot cup of tea. The moment you halt for even 2 minutes, then we found out how you are getting a hot cup of tea. These troops, with they have that rain cape. They will cover a stove with that rain cape and they'll make tea on the stove, and moment you halt, the cup of tea is there. So that type of dedication we have our troops. So these are the insurgency areas. But when we used to get these troops, we should look after them. We have to rehabilitate them. That in Assam, they are very fond of fishing. So I had to do a lot of, open some fishing ponds, driving, because a lot of people are very fond of driving. So we got some vehicles and taught them driving. Their families were taught them handicraft. So this is how you bring them into mainstream. And to my good luck, and with all this, in 1.5 year plus tenure, I did not have a single casualty of my troops. That maybe I may be lucky also, it may not happen, but we had to our credit about 70 odd militants killed, and they were known militants. Much against our wishes to kill them, but well, if you are fired upon in self-defense, you have to fire. So this is the insurgency part of it in my complete tenure.
ND, now I'll take a break. I'm going to show the slides now, and you can describe them as you go along.
Thank you, Ranbir. This is Field Marshal Karyappa. On 15 January 1949, he took over Commander-in-Chief of Indian Army. This is in Siachen, where this is that little semi-square, you find that igloo it is called. It is of snow, and the paradrops that we get there, the parachutes is used to cover that, and you'll find that little door inside. People stay there inside that. You'll find snow all around. Troops are dressed into that dawn jacket, winter clothing. This is the helicopter I was telling you about, CASEVAC. This is being used for CASEVAC, that is casualty evacuation, VIP visits, delivering ration. Now at that height, the capability of lift of these helicopters, this LVIT, is very, very less. It might just carry 1 or 2 jerrycans of kerosene oil, or just one more person. I mean, you can say 60 to 70 kg weight at that height, because and it has to land, and they never switch off the rotor. Rotor is always on. Moment they deliver the thing, pick up the casualty, and this is out of a crevice. If you fall into crevice, you see how a crevice is traversed. You find that ladder between 2 crevices, you have to crawl on that to cross it. Next.
Andy, thank you so much. It is so nice to see, these. But what I would like to tell the audience, these pictures are from Brigadier Prasad's personal collection. That's why you find them the yellowish color and the oldish looking, and not so bright and clear resolution. They are from his personal collection. In fact, he had sent me many photographs of animals and double hump camel and things like that. But I included only these 2, 3 so that you get a idea about the glacier. Brigadier Prasad, could you also tell us the issues of man management and task accomplishment under these different hazardous conditions? You have talked to us about the life at Station Glacier. You've also talked about the way you operated in the counterinsurgency areas. Could you tell us, highlight the leadership aspects, or you can say man management and task accomplishment aspects, how a leader has to orientate his leadership style?
Firstly, leadership and management, they are 2 different aspects. Leadership is basically to lead men. Management is basically managing the inventory, how you manage things for optimum use. So firstly, leadership, like a leader, more or less you are born leader, but leadership training can be given to you. You can become a leader also, but actual leaders are the one who always lead from front. And this is what the Indian Army, or while training in various academies, or during course of our instructions, we are told we are being made a leader. We have to, how to lead men in battle, how to lead men anywhere in aid to civil authorities, or like management, basically how you manage your things, what resources you have been given, how you optimally utilize. So I'll tell you 1 or 2 things. In Siachen itself, now there you are picked up from Thois, either by IL-76 or AN-32 aircrafts. Latest now bigger aircrafts have also come, but their load capacity is very, very less, especially during summer season. Now, Diwali, Dashera, such functions are there when maximum people want to go home. Now, as an administrator, as a deputy commander of that brigade, I knew that IL-76, which takes about 80-90 troops in one lift. So I had officers, JCOs, men all lined up to go back home so that they are back in this thing. I went there. I just told that today only Jawans and JCOs will go in this aircraft. No officer will go. I found pin drop silence. The officers also had to go. But I didn't. I said, no, men will go. I had already planned. This is what leader or management you call combined, which I didn't tell anybody. Moment JCOs and men were so happy, their morale was so high. So this is where you feel that they will give your life for you. So moment they boarded the aircraft, all cheerful, all JCOs men loaded, aircraft took off. I saw long faces of my own officers. And then when that aircraft had taken off, there is one more aircraft landed. So the officers had a little sigh of relief. I said, look, as a leader, you have to be sympathetic to your men. And this is what we are in academy. We are told your own comfort always comes last every time. Comfort of your men always comes first and every time. So when the officers saw that other aircraft coming, they also got loaded and went. So this is one incident of leadership, management, you can call it, which I wanted to narrate to you.
Thank you, Andy. Quite interesting incident that you mentioned. Yeah, we have to do at many times, and we have to follow the Chetwood, uh,
Motto.
the code, Chetwood code that when we passed out from the Indian Military Academy, which was ingrained and instilled into us. Okay, I would now request, नहीं, ये नहीं slide नहीं चाहिए, slide बंद कर दो. Acha, Andy, what I'm talking is that based on your excellent management and timely and tireless effort, after the severe cyclone in Gujarat in June 1998, where many lives were saved and a lot of damage was averted, I would say you are a disaster management expert. You were awarded the Vishish Seva Medal for the excellent relief work. Tell us about that experience.
Oh, I had taken over that brigade in.
Let me get the slides off.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, all Andy, all clear. Please go ahead.
I was saying that I had taken over that brigade in Jamnagar in January 97. I had been through the complete area. It's a sea coast all around, and it's a tri-service station. Air Force is also there, Navy is also there, and Army is there. So, and cyclones are normal cyclones keep coming, but in June 98, I remember the date, I still remember 9th June. Though they were warning for cyclones, people don't take it light very, very seriously. Cyclone aayega, chala jayega. But people were told that is a severe cyclone, but as saying goes, we are not too careful. But in the army or in the armed forces, we take things very seriously and be prepared for it. So on one day before 8th June, I briefed my troops that this is likely to be very severe and you must take all precautions. So we took precautions. On 9th June, when the cyclones came, it was really disaster. It razed our own buildings, which are very old one, of course, and created havoc in complete civil administration, including I recall this Moti Khavda. There is a place in where this Reliance factory has come up. In those, I'm talking about 97. They had just started building that. So there were a lot of damage in Porbandar, Jamnagar, Gandhidham, that Kandla port. All these areas suffered massive damage. All your electric poles, telephone poles, everything uprooted. All roadblocks jammed. But in spite of all that, since we had briefed people, there was no casualty to any of our troops. No operational losses to our equipment or anything else. They were well protected. However, we had a lot of losses on buildings and other things. And in that, in spite of our own losses, we were called in for aid to civil authorities. We provide succor, food, potable water, medicine, our own doctors, our own hospital. We have a military hospital in Jamnagar. In spite of our own difficulties, we went out of the way to provide succor to the entire population around Jamnagar and Porbandar. I remember incidents of all these things happening simultaneously. We risked our own ourselves, and we shared our own medicines, food and water, what we used to get it, with the men outside. Those succor came from civil also. But that is the spirit that we have, and certain photographs. So to recall an incident, the defense minister visited us. That time, late George Fernandez was a very dynamic man. He came immediately after 1 or 2 days, and he asked me, "What can I do for you?" I said, "Sir, we are hale and hearty." No, he said that we have suffered a lot of damages. I said, "Sir, nothing else. I want that our barracks that are gone down, they should be made permanent and not remain temporary, and complete KLP, what key location point they say, for troops. Comfort must come up." He was so happy and surprised that, look, this is the type of answer, or this is the type of welfare I want from men, from senior officers. Of course, I was in charge of everything, and I had very senior visitors there, and they all congratulated me. And without losing any men or material to self or to my organization, we all, the three services, Army, Air Force, Navy, we jointly, combinedly help the civil administration in restoring law and order. And a little incident, I had visited this Reliance at that time, a lighter side. They said, "So why don't you join us?" And will. I said, "Look, my thing is, I'm from Indian Army. My loyalty is to the Indian Army, and I will like to serve the nation. I don't want any lucrative things and all. That's part of my duty." So this is the way I handle that cyclone, and my senior commanders were so pleased. The MP of that place, he wrote a letter to Government of India that Army did so much for our civil, and probably in our part of life, we said that these are our normal common duties, and we could have done, whether I was there or anybody would have done it. But that member of parliament writing to Government of India, okay, look, the army did so much for us, probably got me the award. I'll put it like that. Well, that's part of my duty. But that is thing. I mean, we do a selfless duty. We do it. We don't expect any reward for anything else. It is Government of India to recognize our worth.
Thank you, Andy, telling us about the cyclone. I will now I will show some pictures of that cyclone area, and you can describe them as we go along.
Next. This is of Siachen. Now, the next slide, please. These are the damages. You can see the damages of buildings and other things which had taken place in the cantonment itself, my area. Next. Yeah, this is the area when we had gone. These all are flooded, and we had to take boats for giving succor to the locals in that area.
Thank you, Brigadier Prasad. It's been very interesting interacting with you on this Army Day, and I thank you for sparing time at a little short notice and giving us those real live experiences of yours, both in Siachen, insurgency, and then in aid to civil authorities. I thank you very much, and on behalf of the even Lexicon Management Mile, uh, I would thank you for having come on to this live show on the Army Day, and I think there can be no more befitting, you could say, tribute to our soldiers, to the feeling that we should have. I'm talking of our students and our civilian counterparts on this day, when we salute our martyrs, we salute our brave hearts, I salute all our soldiers today who are deployed in very, very difficult areas, and we salute you and such people like you who have really been contributing to the security of the nation and the welfare of their troops. I would now, thank you, Brigadier Prasad. I will now open the session for any questions that the audience may have to Brigadier Prasad. The session is now open for any questions. Anyone would like to ask any question to Brigadier Prasad? Okay, Andy, before I sign off, just as an interesting thing, I would like to know one, you can say, very worst type of an experience and one very good experience that you had during your long army journey.
Worst thing is that when you want to do something for the men, and it doesn't come through. I'll share one incident. We have a lot of, in Siachen itself, we have a lot of imported equipment and the sleeping bags that you have when we use it. So that our Indian made sleeping bags come for trial. So it so happened that it came in my time. It had come earlier also, and most of the time it got rejected. So it came in my time, and that time I happened to be officiating as brigade commander. I was the number 2 since my boss was on leave. I was officiating. You can say a good or bad incident. That is, for some it may be good, some may be bad. So when this thing came for trial, I had seen the trial report and I saw that this thing had come earlier also. So they thought that when there is a different person and number 2 was officiating, it might just get through. I just wrote one line in that company that had manufactured this, their rep should come, stay with the same thing in the glacier for 7 days. If he survives, this thing is passed. If he doesn't, then in any case, the results will speak for themselves. And you will not believe, after that, the trial was closed. That thing never came again for trial. So that was a very good thing for me, or maybe worst thing for that manufacturer or whoever wanted to push that thing. And bad things have happened when a soldier, a bad thing, I'll put it like that, or you can again relate it when in 71 war as a youngster, when Pakistani officers, men refused to believe that we are, as a youngster, we are officers. Like we are dressed like our own men, we toil like them, we are carrying our own load, we are eating like them in that little mess tin or whatever you call it, what you carry. Because they had seen different type of their own officers, they used to hardly be there. And they were in starched khaki uniform and all. So they nearly caught our feet. Sir, we salute to you. But as Indian Army soldiers, we respected them. We gave them their dignity. In fact, as a youngster, we saluted their commanding officers and their senior officers because, after all, they were in our captivity, but they were officers and they were men of dignity. It is their bad leadership had let them down. Same leadership and management. They also had resources. They also had leadership, but it was a bad leadership and not optimal use of this thing. Their morale was low. They surrendered to us. So you can call it good, bad, anything. These are the things which I always carry with me and it remains with me.
Thank you, Brigadier Prasad. It's been a very interesting session with you. And I hope we will be able to share more and more experiences as maybe even later, not only on such occasions of Army Day. We will like to share your expertise, your memories, your experiences, and definitely I'm sure the students and the young will be very inspired by your stories of how we have worked in the Army. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And God bless. I'm sure everybody has enjoyed the session.
Thank you so much, Ranbir. Thank you so much. Thank you.